It's my second time here, so I'm starting to kind of understand the city geographically a little bit better. And for me, it's a very warm, not just in the temperature, but like a very warm, welcoming place. I'm starting to get a sense of what it means to me, but I think at the moment I'm just still learning the city. It's a very warm, welcoming place, and it's a new chapter for me. So for me, it's like unlocking like a level on Grand Theft Auto almost, you know. So it's kind of seeing something new, a whole new environment of like clients and art and just what the city can bring to me and I can bring to it.
So when you say it's a new chapter, is this going to be the first of...
I really am excited to build a relationship with the city. So yeah, this part of the world is something that I've been thinking about a lot, and I really want to kind of focus a little bit more on coming out here and potentially getting more recognition out on this side of the world.
Going back to your initial memories as an artist, what was it about art, and when did you realise you had this passion for creating art?
I think I don't even really remember when I had the passion, because it's something I've just always done. So I left school when I was 16. Yeah. I was very antsy at school. I couldn't sit still. There was only two classes I enjoyed, which was like sport, not PE, football. I hated PE, but I loved playing football, and also art and drama. So it was like art, drama, and football. Yeah. And those were the real three things that I could like release energy or creativity or something. So long ago, I was at primary school in London. So I was between the ages of like 4 and 11. So I was probably about 8 at the time. And I just remember doing a painting in class. And I remember it so clearly. It was a boat with some rocks. Yeah. And my teacher at the time, Mrs. Hay, she said, you got some real potential here. And it was good. I even looked at it and I was like, that's pretty good for an 8-year-old.
Well,
whoever it was.
Yeah. It's rather unusual to see people that have a love of both like football and art. Quite often the mind you tend to go one way or the other.
I wouldn't sound like your stereotypical artist. Like I don't live, breathe, eat, drink, and like inject art. So, you know, this is my job now, and I've been very lucky to become successful at what I do. So when I switch off, when I'm not working, I like to kind of watch crappy TV, or, you know, like the most mindless kind of stuff. The ideas come to me kind of very spontaneously. So I could be sitting at home and then suddenly something will just like enter my mind and I need to go straight away to my studio. So it works both ways. But football, soccer, is like a passion that I've had ever since I've been a kid. You know, sport is something I'm really into as well.
Are you a Galaxy fan?
No, I'm not really into the American leagues yet. I think they're a bit behind.
Okay.
But I'm an Arsenal fan, regretfully, until this season, which we've suddenly kind of started.
Doing well.
We're doing good. We just drew and we lost, but hopefully we can win the next game against City.
Is it the outlet? Is it like what you said about when you're liking those cheesy TV shows? As an artist, in some capacity, you're always on because you never know where the inspiration's going to take you. Is there the opportunity to be able to enjoy this for 90 minutes or this TV show? It's a way to just de-stress.
Yeah, I think it's also when I was younger and I wasn't successful as I am now, I'd be working in the streets of New York City. So I would consume my whole day. We'd be pushing a cart down the street and then pushing it back, setting up. It was like a very laborious kind of, you'd be out in the cold in the winter. Yeah. And then by the time I got home, I just wanted to like decompress, and like those days were very different. The hustle was very different. And I think I was a little bit more hungry at the time.
But do you think that hunger is a certain part of every artist's journey?
No, I don't. I don't think it is. I think a lot of people, from my experience, like to be broke, hungry, and play the whole artist kind of game. And then they're kind of like against artists who kind of become more commercial until they are offered something which gives them money that they've never seen. And then they contradict everything they believe in and say. And then they're kind of
names at all, mate?
Just in general. I'm just generalizing.
Yeah, I know.
And it's a
common theme. I work in music.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing with music. I would say musicians are a little less. I mean, there is definitely a rivalry, but I think musicians tend to work with each other better, and I think actors as well do as well. And I think artists, there's more conflict because it's like tennis. Like you're kind of by yourself, or boxing. You know, it's a bit more of a solo show. I get asked a lot to do collaborations with other artists, and I tend not to do it because I don't want to deal with the consequences.
Talking about those collaborations, you're here in Dubai, you're returning with ArtKōrero.
Yep.
And we're here at the Dubai Marina. What is about this collaboration that you do like?
I mean, it's quite, the W Hotel is a hotel which is I've known for years and years and years. So it's obviously got a very representable image. Growing up kind of between London and New York as a younger kid, I'd run into the W Hotel in Union Square just to kind of sneak in and use their toilets, you know, when I was working on the streets. So it's just really kind of, for me, the journey of now being able to be invited here and being put up here and not have to sneak in.
It's all come full circle.
Yeah, and it's like I don't have to sneak in here to use the toilet anymore. I actually have a toilet. I've got my own toilet in my room. But it's just kind of an amazing journey. Just, I never forget where I've been. Just working with this group is phenomenal. They've been so warm and welcoming, and I'm just very grateful to be here.
You know, Dubai hasn't really got a history of a cultural art scene. It certainly has changed in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But what do you think the city needs to be able to be on par with a New York or a Paris in terms of, it's very hard given they've got hundreds of years of cultural history.
I think they're learning still. It's very obviously when you look at this city, it's like since I was here for last year and 1 year, just the amount of buildings that have gone up. But I think the city is just trying to understand and adapt to like modern Western civilization. So it's understanding things and letting go of like cultural rules and history and just becoming more modernized, right?
Yeah.
So I think now with that will come murals in the street. And I think the problem is that before Instagram, what we did, doing murals or doing stuff in the street was represented as a negative thing. It was looked upon as like graffiti. So there was this rebelliousness to it because spray cans are stigmatized because you shouldn't be using, you know, but they were made. There's big brands that, you know, make them. And I think now that with Instagram, it's changing the way that we look at art. Like art's become a much different thing and street art's become much more accepted, like Banksy.
Well, he's been one of your heroes.
Well, he's definitely changed the game. Honestly, I wouldn't say he's one of my heroes.
Inspiration?
He's definitely inspired and led the way forward for us as muralists to be able to do things in a different way. So, you know, the fact that his work is now being auctioned off in Sotheby's and Christie's at such ridiculous prices, and it all started as like this illegal thing, and the amount of stories I hear about landlords that would have buildings and paint over his work, only then to realise a few years later that they lost about $250,000 on the building, and they probably don't care because they didn't know any better and they're a different generation. But it's just incredible what he's done. I believe that he's definitely transformed the game. Yeah. So we owe him a little bit of respect in the sense of how we now have all been allowed to kind of like make money from this as well in different ways, whether it's working with brands, hotels.
Well, you know, speaking of one of yours, the Lovewall, I can't let you go without asking you about the Lovewall that first appeared in New York City. You know, we spoke about musicians. Some musicians are attached to one massive song. What do you think about the idea that certain artists can be attached to that one big piece of art?
I think for artists, what I realized over time is that you need to have an identity. So it's like when you, for instance, like when you listen to a band play, you can recognize their music. Like Coldplay probably have like the most recognizable sound to me that I can think of. You know, it's a Coldplay track. Yeah. We all try to do so many different things and we're all trying to become successfully recognized, but it's until that you have an identity for art. So someone can be like, oh, I recognize that. Oh, and it has to be something that has a very similar like repetition. So the Hearts was something I got very lucky with. I didn't really put much thought process into it because I didn't realize what would happen. So I was doing this mural in New York in February of 2015, and I was asked to actually do it in November of 2014, and they told me that I could do it in February. So they gave me a heads up. So I had a few months to kind of think about what to do, and my friends told me I should do the Hearts. And because
February, Valentine's Day.
Exactly, and I was like, it's too cliche, no. I was like, I'll think of something else. And then I didn't think of anything else because I didn't even think about it.
First ideas sometimes the best.
Yeah, but I was just busy doing stupid things and being broke and running around and just enjoying...
Free toilets.
Everything, you know, running in and out of the W. And then, sure enough, February came and I was like, fair enough, I'll do the Hearts.
Yeah.
So I did the Hearts, and then... it went viral within a week. It changed my life and I had no idea what was about to happen. So it was just literally, I was doing my first legal mural in New York City and people would stop, take photos, and I was like, that's cool. And it was as Instagram was becoming more of a tool for bloggers and, what are they called? Bloggers and influencers. And then this woman called Eva Chen, she like posted it. She worked for Facebook.
Yeah.
She had a big following. And then the next thing I knew, all these other girls would come down and all these people would come down to take the backdrop with the photo with them and whatever, post it. And then brands just reached out to me and it just changed the game.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's great to have you in Dubai. Obviously, you're here tonight at the Dubai Marina, and people get to take home some of your artwork. Is that right?
I believe so.
Well, congratulations. It's great to hear an artist who is a bit more down to earth and shows some recognition at times. It is a wonderful insight, and congratulations on your success.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you, mate.